Hello and welcome to the Edmonds Racing Review Show. Bruce is out, Fatty's out, and I've got the call up off the bench this week. So joining the lads, Tobe and Trent. G'day guys, and well done on another good week for the stable. 4 winners across the 3 meetings. Takes the tally for the season to 105 winners. Tobe, you must be happy with the results on the weekend.
Yeah, they could have been a really good weekend. Even though it was good, it could have been extremely good. You know, a couple of bobs of the head went against us on the weekend, and that was unfortunate, but that's racing, it happens. But I thought they all performed pretty good. The horse we thought could run well did, and you know, I thought they all did a good job. So, as I said, what could have been a terrific weekend was still a good weekend.
Yeah, Trent, speaking of, I know you were a bit frustrated with the couple of narrow seconds midway through the Gold Coast meeting, but obviously good to see a few winners there by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, no, it was a bit wild running 5 seconds in a day, especially 2 bobs of the head. We actually asked to have a look at the photo of Global Citizens Race, the print, where we were sitting live, thought he won. Watching on Sky Channel, thought on the phone on Sky Channel, thought he won. And then the number came up in the frame really quick, so we were a little bit confused by that. What looked to be a pretty tight one, and winner down the outside was called within seconds of them passing the post, so I thought that was a bit odd. But anyway, got to roll with the punches. Ran 5 seconds and had 3 winners on Friday. So as Dad said, what could have been a monstrous day, it was still a very good day in its own right.
Yeah, sure was, and obviously very unlucky for the 2K Thoroughbreds guys there. But let's get into the review of all the runners. It started on a good note, the Gold Coast meeting. Wisdom of Water, very dominant in the way he went about his business. What did you make of that performance, Toby?
It was a good effort to come back and do what he did. We expected him to win his very short price, as you would have seen. So it's interesting to see that they didn't run flash times on Friday. So when we looked at the time that came up after he ran, I thought, gee, that's a bit average, because the week before and the week before that, they were running breaking 110 easily. Like I think one of them ran 1:08.5, like 2 or 3 weeks prior to that. So the rail was out.
The last 2 weeks, you've got to remember the track had been a bit not as firm. Remember the first 3 weeks it was really firm, and the last 2 weeks it's been a little less. But anyway, sorry, thought I'd.
Yeah, that's fine. But in saying that, then because it was race 1, then you got to see the times comparatively through the day, and he ran a quicker time than the Class 6, which is encouraging in a 4-horse field where there wasn't much pressure or competition, if I can say that. Not being disrespectful to the others, but he was sort of out free balling on his own, and done that all on his own. So without any pressure, I'm sure he can go quicker than that and run. He'll improve a stack out of it, and he moves on to the Ken Russell Classic at the Gold Coast in a couple of weeks' time now.
Very good. Yeah, obviously a lot of eyes will be watching him in the coming weeks. And in the same race, Trent Jetty for the 2K Thoroughbreds team, obviously a bit of a tough gig for him, running into a smart one in Wisdom of Water at only his second start.
Yeah, he's a horse with a nice future. It's hard. Wisdom of Water is pretty sharp. To be fair, this guy's done a huge job. I think he's earned about 70 grand in his first racing prep. First 2 starts. He can go for a break now. Just wandered about a bit and sort of probably showed that he was on tired legs. I think he's better than what he showed on Friday, and next preparation, something to certainly look forward to. He can continue to race at that level, make good Cutis prize money, and that's the beauty of obviously racing Cutis up here, just the added extra. Nice horse. We're going to take care of him. He went out this morning, goes for a break, and make a ripping animal when he comes back, I reckon.
Yeah, sure will. No, exciting times for the guys there. Race 2, Pareto ran second in the 2-year-old maiden. What did you make of that one, Tobe?
Yeah, she ran good as well. She probably looking for a break now. She's not as sharp as she was. She's lost. Like I think when we first trialled her up, she looked like she's pretty precocious and quite a fast filly, but that sharpness has gone out of her legs now. To me, she looks like she's going to get a mile, every bit of a mile, which is great and opens up a lot of options for her. But I think she can have a break now as well, and she'll come back a nice filly in the next prep, even the prep after. There's a lot of races for her, and unfortunately, we did not bowl one over in the first prep, but she'll win pretty quick, and some good cutest money available for her next time in.
I think he probably could have been a bit more positive on it too, Adam, to be fair. Like, she jumped really well and then turned into a bit of a jog. So it's left with too much to do, but hit the line good. It's a really, really good effort.
Very good. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for her next prep. Trent, you've already touched on Global Citizen. Obviously, that was your best bet, your charity best bet, and look, the winner, only to be nabbed on the line late. But I guess obviously still a great run at only start number 2 for that horse.
Yeah, jumped, showed his good sort of speed that we've become accustomed to. Did get a little bit of pressure from the outside for a fair majority of the race. And to be fair, I thought probably, he's down on the fence. Whether or not that was a little bit inferior on the weekend, last Friday, remains to be seen. And I thought maybe if that was the case, Robbie could have, knowing that he's coming back from 1200 to 11, might have just got on his bike a little earlier. I thought he was a little bit cute up the running and sort of horse down the outside that beat him, had momentum. Whether or not he sort of just held him for 50 or 60 metres too long, and that might have cost him the race, I don't know. But he's knocking on the door, and I'm sure he'll win pretty quick. It was another good effort. Just unfortunately, he got nutted.
Yeah, sure was. Race 5, Heritage Sash, was a similar story with him, Toby. Obviously a narrow second for Heritage Sash.
Yeah, that's right. I watched most of these races live on Friday. I didn't get to see the replay until I got home, and studying the replay, a few of the owners phoned me and weren't that happy with Nick Keel, but I sort of thought he had his chance to win, to be truthful. But then when you look at the ride, maybe he should have just went on with it a little bit. We asked him to be positive, and he sort of let the leaders go pretty quickly and buttoned off. I think he could have made those horses to the outside of him work a little bit more, and then they would have had to go on with more tempo in the race, and it probably gives him a chance to, well, they either pull out of it or they go on with it. The two to the outside of him, and there's either a lot of pressure or then it becomes a walk for our guys. But I think he just made a blue by letting them go too early, letting the tempo go a little bit early, and probably cost him the win. He's been beaten not far, so we might tinker with some gear with him. We've got blinkers on him. We might pull those off so he can have a look at what's coming. But he needs to win again shortly. He's sort of becoming one of those horses that's running places all the time, and we'll place him to advantage from now. But I think the jockey just made a bit of a blue there.
Yep, fair enough. Toby, your best bet on the program was Maslow in race 7. Another second there. Obviously a good run though.
Yeah, ran great. It's an honest horse, this horse. I'm not sure what grade he gets to. He probably should get through open company easily enough. The winner was a favourite and sort of got a nice run through him. They were probably together on the corner. In fairness, he's probably close enough to beat him if good enough. I think I must mention the track too. The track getting towards that time of the day was becoming very chopped up on the corner, about the 500 metre mark. They inspected the track after this race, I think, and weren't going to run the last couple of races. So one of the horses in this particular race was back in the field, and it nearly came down. So
I think that was the race after the. Oh no, sorry, no, you're right. Yeah, I thought.
Race, yeah. It's his race. So yeah. So one of Brian Guy's nearly came down. So both our horses in that race, which Trent will touch on the Pines in a minute, but both of them hit that ordinary bit of ground and just scramble for a bit. So he was a bit unlucky, but he ran great, and we think he can get out. Well, we think he's sort of more effective at 1400. The owner's not that doesn't sort of share that view, but as he gets into his prep, we think 1400 is probably his best distance.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, as you mentioned, the Pines in the same race. Trent, you thought, yeah, maybe he had some excuses.
Yeah, well, look, this filly, mare, she's got a really good record. Obviously, strung a heap together last prep. She's really hard puller at home, right? So got to basically do not a huge deal with her because she just pulls herself into the ground. Whether or not first 2 runs she's needed them, I didn't think so. I thought she could probably win on both occasions, but saddled her up on Friday and just having a look at her walking past me, I said, geez, she's probably too fat still, to be fair. So that can happen. Sometimes they just get away on you a bit and done a bit well. I think that might be the case with her. But she did hit that ordinary patch of turf around that 550, just inside the 600-metre mark, and actually stumbled and fell into the fence. So she's fairly lucky that the fence kept her up to a certain extent. It actually helped her balance again. Before that, she was travelling really good and basically tracking the winner. Come into the straight and died in a run. So that suggests to me that she would improve again from that, Adam, which is fine. She's just taking a couple of runs this time. And as I mentioned, because she pulls so hard and has had a little issue in the past with soundness and whatever, we've just been maybe a tiny bit soft on her. And she's just taken a couple of runs to come to peak fitness. And I'm sure third up, she'll improve again and be fairly competitive. I think we're going to try and sneak her into the silk stocking if we can to try and get her a bit of black type. I think that'll be a perfect race for her.
Okay, one to follow into next start and maybe beyond, I guess. So the next race, that was the second winner of the program, Beaudesert. Toby, obviously you guys had sort of touched on in the previous show that there's not a lot between these 3-year-olds, but obviously Beaudesert just a bit too sharp for the others.
Yeah, she had a bit of weight pull on the other 2 as well, being a filly and the other 2 guys being geldings. They're carrying big weights, and her with that weight reduction, she's still quite sharp in early part of her preparation. I think the other guys had a couple of trials. She'd only had 1 trial going into a first up run. She was unfortunately beaten first up and then was able to atone on Friday. Like, she's a good filly. She looks like she's come on from last preparation as well. She's furnished, she's big and strong, and there's a couple of options for her. She either goes to the silk stocking or the
Gold Coast
Guineas, and possibly, she won't, it's not an N, but we either decide whether we send her to Sydney for the Scone Guineas, I think it is, which is the English 1400. It's 1400 this year, that Scone Guineas, so it's right up her alley, third up.
Very good. Yeah, well, exciting times for her. Obviously, she's got a number of different options there. The others in the same race, Trent, Fisticuffs, who was 4th, and Scout was 5th. They all sort of loomed up together, didn't they, out wide on the track?
Yeah, so just touching on that again. So even Beaudesert, I thought she probably settled a bit far back in the run. And the good thing about her was that she was able to sprint off a slow tempo. I think they just broke 38 for the first 600. And these guys, Fisticuffs in particular, carrying 60, was out the back from a crap barrier and got to the line nicely. Scout was sort of in the same boat. They're both carrying 60 kilos and sort of paying for their consistency. I think you'll see the best of both of them once they get back down in the handicaps a bit. So if we're like a set weight, he's going to go to the Gold Coast Guineas next start, Fisticuffs, and he'll race a stack better than he has with the 60 because he's not overly big either. And Scout's in the same boat. I think he's going to go to a 1400 at the Sunshine Coast next on the 15th of this month. So that was basically 2 weeks from his last run. I'm going to claim on him, take a couple of kilos off with Justin Huxtable, and that'll see him return to form. I just think they keep getting anchored early in the prep when they're sort of just trying to get fully race fit, and that stops them a bit. And I think that's what's happened with Scout. You'll see the best of him next start for sure. Fisticuffs, good honest run, got too far back from that barrier. He'll improve when he goes to the Guineas next start, carrying 57, I think it is.
Okay, very good. Toby, the last race on the card, there was the 3 runners there. Great Keppel, 3rd, Jet Affair 4th, and Sapporo was 6th.
Great Keppel, firstly, is one of those horses that always runs into a bit of trouble. He did again on Friday. He had a little bit of a wide run for most of the trip and was quite aggressive and keen. So Robbie decided to cut the corner and try to save a bit of ground that way, and then, get up between. He ended up had to come up the fence again, which isn't ideal. But he ran on nicely late, and it was unfortunate. But I think if he gets to the outside, if he follows probably Luke Dittman out, gets to the outside of Luke Dittman, the eventual winner. I'm pretty sure he would have nearly won, or
Nearly knocked him off.
Yeah, but he's one of those horses. He's you think he needs a big track and a further distance. Tried him in a mile a couple of times and ridden him up on the speed. He doesn't finish off. So look, frustrating horse, but earns prize money every time he goes around, and probably a good money spinner. But as we've mentioned a number of times, once he wins one, he's going to win a couple pretty quick. It's only a matter of getting the right ride and the right run. So, but he raced good. The Jet Affair or Jet Affair, I thought she could have raced better. We're hoping now when we push her out in distance, she comes, she strikes form, because she is a lot better than how she raced the other day. She hadn't raced against that quality horse for quite a while, way back in grade. So we expect her to improve a bit when she gets out to 1800. That'll probably be her next run. And if you want me to touch on Zipporah, there's a race for her in a fortnight. She drew awfully the other day, and we just had to run her for a bit of fitness, and hopefully that fillies and mares benchmark race in a fortnight's time is good for her. So she was okay with, but didn't figure in the finish or the placings.
Yeah, okay. Anything to add on those three runners there, Trent, before we move on to the other meetings?
No, I think that's pretty spot on.
Yep. Okay. Well, Friday evening, Sunshine Coast. There was a few runners there. Obviously, one winner out of those runners. Earlier on in the program, Isa Rocket, Trent. That horse was 8th at the first start for the stable.
Yeah, she disappointed. Had a good run and didn't offer much, which was odd. Only thing I could say is we haven't really had her long, so we're still sort of getting a bit of a handle on her. But the run she had, I would have liked her to have finished off a little bit stronger. She didn't offer a great deal, so she had a couple of days at the farm. She come back to the stable this morning, and we'll have her for a little longer, obviously, into her next run and just work her out a bit. But certainly was disappointing.
Okay. Hello, Tobe was another sort of narrow second, another good run though.
Yeah, we actually thought she could run well, because we'd done a bit of work and tidied a joints in her knees up. So we thought she could perform better this week. I thought the jockey thought he was riding at Ipswich maybe. He put her into the race a fair way from home, got out and went around them, circled them, and she was brave enough to hang on. It was just unfortunate. I think if he could have been a little bit more patient, maybe another 100 metres or something, and she probably wins comfortably. The winner, actually, we protested in that race. And a funny story is we were beaten ahead. We protested because the eventual winner did give us a good bump at a vital stage when, we were both trying to gain the upper hand. She sort of did fight back for a little bit. When the stewards asked the jockey, how far do you think it cost you, or what margin do you think it's cost you? The margin was a head. The jockey said, it's cost me about half a head.
I'm sure he meant half a length.
He said half a head. So
come on, Ant. Jeez.
Yeah. So he's buggered up twice in that race. Anyway, it is what it is, and good luck to the guy that knocked us off. Anyway.
Yeah. You got to laugh. Yeah, you do have to laugh, I guess. But another good run. That Sunshine Coast Straight's pretty unforgiving, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, sometimes you can get away with it. Jeff Loeb was good at doing that. Like he didn't worry about the but he knew exactly how hard he'd gone throughout the race. He's so good. He put him into the race there sometimes, and they just keep running for him. This mare probably didn't need that on Friday night, but it was good to see her perform twice now for us, which she performed good at Ipswich at a most recent run, and then again on Friday night. So very close to winning for the Archer Park guys.
Very good. Trent, next runner was Filters, who was 5th in that race.
Yeah, just got a bit too far back at him. She's really dour. Hit the line okay. Sort of last 50 or 60 metres in restricted room in amongst basically a bit of a crowd. Not a bad run. Step her out over further and she'll come into her own. Capable of winning a couple more races, but just needs every inch of like 2000 and beyond. She's just really dour, out and out stayer. Got to be up on speed, and she'll show her best. So she's edging towards sort of the right journeys for her, and in the coming weeks, I think you'll see a much improved performance again. But hit the line okay for next start.
Okay, another one to follow into next start and beyond. Toby, the winner on the program was Meninga, who obviously Fatty touched on. No relation to there's no line in the naming of it with Meninga, but obviously a good name and a good win.
No, the actual naming of that horse is named after I think it's a little suburb outside of Tamworth. It's called Meninga, and the owner went to school there. I think that's what he said, and went to school there at some stage when he was in his pre-education. So he named that horse Meninga after his old school, which is great. So that's the history of how Meninga was named. But he was good. A pub, is it?
Yeah.
I thought there's a suburb called Meninga.
Well, there might be, but it's named after the Meninga pub near Tamworth.
This story's going to get better and better every time we do one of these, I reckon.
Happy to be corrected, but anyhow, it was good. He's been going to win a race for a long time, and finally got the upper hand in that race on Friday night. So he'll go out to 2000, maybe even 24, if and you'll find that those type of horses, as they get out in distance, the competition isn't as strong, and he'll come into his own because he's got a pedigree. He's by Nom de Jeu, who's by Montjeu. Just a really stout sideline. So we can't wait to get him out in distance further.
Okay, very good. And just quickly, just touching on Pecola, Toby, in the same race, obviously finished down the track there.
Yeah, been in for a long time. She's probably not quite good enough for up to our stable, so we're probably going to move her on now. She's had a couple of chances, so she might be someone else's problem from now on.
Saturday, Doomben, Trent, the one runner and the one winner with the consistent Mr. Balaji. That makes it sort of back-to-back wins for him, and a good ride from Justin Huxtable.
Yeah, got a great ride from Justin. First ride he's had for us, so off the back of that, I'd be keen to use him a bit more on some. He's got 2 kilo claim, so I'd be keen to use him a bit more with that 2 kilos. I loved how strong he was in the finish, and speed was frantic. Positioned him well, one off the fence, and put him into the race at the right time. Obviously, it wasn't a big margin, winning by a nose, but he was back in grade, benchmark 85 down to a 78. Hence why we claimed he was going to carry 61.5 from memory. So not easy to do. Ever since we've taken the blinkers off this horse and just given him a bit of a look and changed things up with him, his form's been impeccable. He's run 2 seconds and 2 wins. So going great, the old boy. And geez, I wish they were all as genuine as him. He, you know what you're going to get every time. He's so genuine. He tries hard. I wish we had a barn full of him. And he's a lovely horse to boot. So I was really rapt to see him get the job done. Place him a little bit carefully now again, and hopefully we can go 3 from 3 out of his last 3 next start. Great effort.
Yeah, very reliable. I can imagine know exactly why you must love horses like that. So Sunday at Beaudesert, the Beaudesert meeting, there was 11 races there, big program. There was the 2 runners. Toby, Lot's wife, was second.
Yeah, she ran great. Straight out of maiden into that race. So she'll win again shortly. Had a beautiful run. Actually, Robbie rode her beautifully. Beautiful run behind the eventual winner. Which was just a bit sharp around Beaudesert. She's a big girl that's got a great big stride, so she'd be better suited to a bigger track. It was just that race, was there for her, and we just decided to run. So look, good effort. We'll win again shortly.
Okay, another one to follow there. And Trent, the other runner on the program, was Beats Me, who finished 4th.
Yeah, he was fried early. Obviously 6-horse field, and he's got good gate speed. We wanted to try and clear them pretty quick if we could. Robbie gave him a good dig out of the barriers, and it was really disastrous after that. So I'd forget about it. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but probably would have been better served taking a sit and sort of having last crack at them 2 tearaways. As it turned out, it went to mud pretty quick. Just a torrid run. Fired up too much after sort of getting a really good scrid out of the barriers. And I forget he went around. It's better than that. Probably needs to draw a barrier where he's able to get out and get rolling and dominate. And if a bit of a speed battle like that happens, I wouldn't hesitate next start and beyond to take a sit on him. I just think it was a bit of a stuff up, and just move on from it and learn a bit from it. More importantly.
Okay, well, bit of context there, and obviously that's a bit of a theme across some of the beaten brigades. So, well, guys, thanks. That's the wrap. Thanks for your insights, and we'll be back on Thursday with the preview show.
Cheers, Ed. Thanks for that.
Thanks very much.